we had this idea that we had something amazing sitting in the can. And it wasn't until almost a year later that, the audience got to see it. And then everyone's like, we better have saved the set. I'm like, yes, yes. I threw a tantrum and they saved the set.
I remember hanging out with you in Las Vegas.
I know. It seems like so long ago, but really it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just 2 months ago. Now you and Liz, you got that rock star reception in Vegas, and
it was nice because obviously the even though there was a lot of actors, we were the only ones there talking Trek. So it was nice, but it was also nice to have so many people come up and thank us for the work that we did on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's such a special thing for your crew, the technical crew, to be recognized so much for your work. Especially with the actors not really being able to talk about Star Trek. But even then, because your work was so great throughout Picard season 3, the ships, the designs, everything, I feel like you guys really were able to take the spotlight that you deserved.
Well, it was nice. It's a team effort, and it was nice to have so many of the members there shuffling through people like Mike Okuda and Doug Drexler, John Eves, Todd Marks. And it was really important to me because initially there was a number of panels that just asked me to go. I'm like, no. I go, we put as many people up there as we can and let everyone get a little bit of spotlight and let everyone know, because I think that it's important that people know that it is a team effort and that a lot of individual work went into creating all these sets.
Yeah. I spoke to Gates McFadden a few months ago, and she said that one of the things she loved about the show was that it had the legacy cast and the newer actors, the two generations working together. And it occurred to me that you did the exact same thing, putting your team together. You had new people like you and Liz, newer people, but you also brought in the Okudas, you brought in John Eves, you brought in both generations to work together.
Yeah, in fact, that was when they did a trailer when they first announced that they were bringing everyone back for season 3. And I did a matching trailer with all the names of all the legacy people, even going to the deep cuts like Dan Curry, who designed Worf's weapon. And we just reached out to Dan, and people were like, well, he's not even in the business anymore. And it's like, but it doesn't matter. He's the guy who designs the Klingon weapons. Why wouldn't you reach out to him? And we try to include as many people as we could. It was impossible to get everyone based on time and budgets and COVIDs and whatnot. But we did try.
Obviously, everyone was absolutely in love with your work with Picard, especially the Enterprise D set. It's just sitting there right behind me right now. It's still like it brings a tear to your eye just to see it. Where is the D now? Where is the set?
The set is stored in archives. They decided that they were going to hold on to this. What they're going to do with it and whatever. Again, it's important to know that we did seasons 2 and 3 back to back. So when everyone's watching, Girardi and the Borg Queen and the running around with Soong and the we're already done shooting for season 2. So no one's sitting there going, oh my God, we have this great set piece that, it's like we had this idea that we had something amazing sitting in the can. And it wasn't until almost a year later that, the audience got to see it. And then everyone's like, we better have saved the set. I'm like, yes, yes. I threw a tantrum and they saved the set.
Well, that's great. I mean, that set I would pay money. Millions of people would pay money just to walk through that set, just experience.
And they did in Las Vegas for that experience. And but to be honest, ours is better. We looked at the Enterprise set that they created, and I think ours is monumentally more authentic.
So, I spent the weekend binging the Picard season 3 Blu-ray and watching the special features. And there's that great featurette about building the Enterprise D set. But then when the cast came in and saw it for the first time, you were there, right? What was that like to see that?
It was, literally the pinnacle of my career to sit there and as a Star Trek fan to give this gift back to the legacy characters and to watch them come in and with tears in their eyes and you could see them transported back 30 years to when they were how much they grew up and how much they evolved as people on this set, and to give them this gift, it was just amazing. And they all stopped and gave us a round of applause. Liz and I were standing there, and it was pretty special. Was
Patrick actually talking about like the ramp was too steep? He
didn't clock that with me. I mean, but it's like everyone had their and again, it's not his thing. It's the one thing he mentioned that he didn't think that the little jump seats were there, and it's like, and Gates is like, but they were there, and it's like, well, but they were, and then they weren't, and then they changed, and then and everyone has their memory, and again, people forget that it's 30 years ago is a big chunk to go back, and also to have and the set evolved quite extensively over the course of 7 seasons, and then the movie, so everyone's memory is somewhat skewed.
Right, of course. I'd actually love to know what you thought of Picard season 3. Do you have a favorite episode, favorite moment?
I think the no-win scenario is probably in my top 2 favorite Star Trek episodes of any series. It's like the original series. I love Arena and Corbomite Maneuver, Doomsday Machine, but I think what Jonathan Frakes did with no-win scenario is the 2 episodes that he did are just, because you start low and you go, and it's just, but to share that experience with Jonathan Frakes and to watch him do that was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting to do this. And I think that that's the best Riker we've ever seen, and that's written, and to just watch him do the dual directing and acting role, it was just, it was phenomenal.
I think also, and they talked about this in the commentary, one of the reasons why it was the best Riker is because there was a lot more Frakes in him this time. Like his personality was really fused in there. Yeah,
and I think that's the brilliance of Terry Matalas to bring each characters out and watch them evolve, and Jonathan just felt very comfortable in the role. And again, just the most amazing person ever.
Yeah, he was just absolutely incredible. And what was it like for you, hearing Jonathan Frakes and the cast praising you on the commentary?
It's just, such a fanboy thing. But it was, it's just, the day I met LeVar Burton, we had this little scene with him in his office, and he notices the Zephyr Cochrane statue, and he's like with his hand up, and he's like, and I'm like, yeah, because there's the thing, and he came out and gave me this giant hug, and he's like, oh my God, you get it. I'm like, yes, because I'm a fan, and sure, LeVar Burton, which was awesome, because it was actually my birthday that day. But all of them, the cast are all just incredibly kind, and for every single one of them was just a joy to work with, and as a fan to get to experience that was just bizarre.
Pretty amazing.
On a daily basis.
Yeah. There's also that featurette on the Blu-ray about Captain Vadic, and Amanda Plummer said the nicest things about you and the chair you built for her. Tell me about the chair.
It started out that it was just going to be a view screen shot, and then Terry's like, when we saw her first day of work, we're like, yeah, she's killing it. We need to make this a bigger thing. So I worked with her, and obviously her father was in the films, and he had the chair, cry havoc, let loose the dogs of war, and we wanted to kind of give a slight nod to that. But she's also like, I'm trapped in this chair, so I wanted to be part of my extension. She told me how she wanted to sit, and again, Amanda Plummer. It's just the Fisher King is one of my go-to favorite movies, and it's just to work with her, and then she's just like the sweetest, nicest little person, and then all of a sudden, just this attack of Vadic comes out of her, and it was just getting to work with her and to make her feel like this chair was something special, and we had a lot of fun with that. And again, that was a set that we knew that we didn't have a lot of money to do, so we put the money, and we made a cool chair, and the rest of the set was something different.
And that was like the bottom part of the La Sirena set, right?
Yeah. So it's typical Star, and that's the thing with Star Trek fans. You can do things and get away with it because it's part of Star Trek history, is the remaking of things from one thing to another, and fans buy it. So it's something you have to do, because that's just the way. In order to save the money and get the Enterprise D up there for 2 days, it's like you got to cut corners elsewhere.
Yep. And last night we got some good news that the writer's strike is tentatively ending this week, and that could mean Star Trek Legacy might get a green light finally. We're all hoping.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all above my pay grade. I relocated after Picard ended up to Toronto, where they shoot the other Star Trek shows. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get on Section 31, but maybe that's because they want me for something cooler, like a Legacy. But I do know that they're still actively developing Starfleet Academy and other things. So maybe my phone will ring. Who knows?
I hope it does. If Legacy happens, are there any ideas for upgrading the new Enterprise, or if you ever got your chance to get a hold of those nacelles again?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd love to. again, because we went, as we did season 2 and season 3 back to back, there wasn't any time to change really the bridge from the Stargazer to the Titan, the bridge itself, or a thing. But if we get into the going to series with Legacy, and we're gonna definitely tweak that one.
Now, by the way, I wanted to ask you this weekend. You put out an interesting tweet about the Two Towers being a better sequel than Empire Strikes Back, and
I'm rewatching it. It's such a fabulous movie, and I just it's timeless, and I think that putting those two things up against it, and I just think that Two Towers is highly underrated as a film.
Gotcha. Yeah, just really funny that even Terry Matalas took issue with that.
Well, Terry is a huge Star Wars fan, but I hold the record for the most photos taken in Hobbiton in a 24-hour period of time. So I have that going for me.
Very, very jealous.
Yes.
Lastly, looking back on your 2 seasons of Picard, what are you proudest of from season 2 and season 3?
Season 2, I'm proudest of the Stargazer. I think that it's a perfect ship, a combination of Doug Drexler and John Eaves and myself. And I think that it is just for my career to create that starship from scratch and to have it look as perfect as it is. Very proud of that. And then obviously in season 3, my thing is I wanted the Legacy characters to exist in the Legacy world. And I wanted all the sets to feel like a upgraded version of Star Trek The Next Generation. And I think that we were able to accomplish that and obviously bring them home on the Enterprise D. So to do all that and to have millions of fans come up to me and say thank you. Hundreds and hundreds of people emailing me saying thank you for this thing. And I connected the show with my dad or my parents and this and that as a filmmaker, you want to connect with people, you want to touch people, and to do that with a show like Star Trek, which is really where my goal in Hollywood was to go to and do Star Trek, and to do Star Trek and to really stick the landing on a franchise like Next Generation. I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Honestly, you live in the dream. It couldn't have gone better. So, Dave, that's really all I've got for you. Thank you so much for your time.